What's up, Total Wars here, fans? Got another great one for you today. This is going to be a 2v2 land battle. It's going to be the Araverci going up against the Macedonians, and it's a two large armies, so it's equivalent of a 4v4. I'm going to slow this down because, as you can see, I'm getting very aggressive with my 4 Cantabrian cavalry. In the back here, I'm going to have 4 noble cav right here, and that's going to be backed by noble fighters, a lot of noble fighters. The Iberian skirmishers, Balearic slingers. My ally's gonna have a line of Balearic slingers there as well. He's also gonna have some Scutari right there, and his front line is gonna be noble fighters all the way across his general right there on the far left. He's also gonna have that Iberian ballista moving up. I also have another noble cav right here. I think I already mentioned my front line, Scutari there, and then he's gonna have 2 Cantabrian cavalry and noble cav and 1 Iberian cavalry. So let's see. We didn't line up the normal formation, 1 person here and 1 person on the left, 1 person on the right. But the enemy did a little bit. They didn't really line up over here on the right, but they're gonna be kind of hard to see here. But they've got Royal Peltasts, Levy pikemen, thorax swords, Royal Peltasts, some Apis Campania. Some companion cavalry. There's got some chevrons. I think those are level 3 chevrons. Yeah, all those? No, just those 2. Then gonna have a mix of shield bearers, Spears, thorax, hoplites, mercenary Rhodians. I'm not going through this whole thing because there's so much. Over here, advancing into the woods, is an army of hoplites. We also have some pikemen up front, making up the front rank, some Tarentine cavalry, some Greek archers, and some Cretan archers. So the ballista fire pouring in right there. As this gets going, we'll speed this back up now, as the Tarentines are skirmishing with the Cantabrians. The Cantabrians, however, are numerically superior, because they have 4 versus 3 Tarentines. However, the Tarentines are more heavily armored. Whoa, look at that volley right in there. That was perfect. I mean, I'm not bragging myself up, but I am saying. Meanwhile, a detachment, I should say, of Macedonian units is moving to the right. It's going to be thorax, shield bearers, militia hoplites, thorax, some levy pikemen in there, as well as I see some Royal Peltas and some Thracian warriors. Some, what are those? Royal Peltas? No, I'm looking right here. The Rhodian slingers. And they're going to be pushing our right, which is pretty weak right now. We don't really have a ton of infantry over there. And then meanwhile, while my ally's advancing, you're going to see me going full right here. And with all my Scutari, I'm backing that up with Balearic slingers. Also have my cavalry and my noble fighters going over there. My cavalry here is stayed on the left flank and got attacked by some Tarentines. But my noble cav is going to intercept them. Then nobody was paying attention, and no one in this game is AI, so there's no computer players here. Don't worry. It might look like it a few times, but there was no computer players. So while the Macedonians advanced, this ballista already 54 kills, peppering the advance of those pikes, and then the rear ranks got a lot of militia hoplites mixed in there for Macedon. I also have 2 guerrilla warriors back here up against the back. That's kind of a cool trick, lining them up again between the edge of the map and stuff. So you can see my Scutari still stretching out and getting a huge flank here on the enemy. My ally sending his cavalry, his strong cavalry contingent, and then you can also see some Campania cavalry going into the woods there. So meanwhile, the Tarentines have been pretty much destroyed. You can see 1 about to get away maybe, but it's wavering, so I don't know if morale will hold. No, 2 going to get away. Okay, so 2 of those are going to get away. Start throwing back into that noble horse. However, it looks like I will have a Cantabrian cavalry run them down, possibly. But it's going to swerve back as infantry support of the levy pikemen and the militia hoplites or shield bearers. So militia hoplites and shield bearers, levy pikemen get in there, as well as a large contingent of archers have just come out of the woods. These aren't archers, these are Rhodian slingers. Only 1 unit of archers over there on the far left. 2 units of archers, and 2 Balearic slingers and 2 archers. So we also have 2 scorpions that have come up out of the woods. These guys will do tremendous damage if they let them be. Meanwhile, how's this go over here going? The flanking move is moving up and really surrounding. You can see here they've sent some foot companions and some hoplites to kind of like a fallback and just allow this to move forward. Meanwhile, they're pushing on the right flank with this strong contingent, and we got nothing to stop this right here. I mean, absolutely nothing. So you will see soon enough, if not already. We got Scutari from my ally moving up here. We got some militia hoplites there engaging but getting destroyed. The archers from like point blank range firing back into the Balearic slingers of my ally. My Cantabrian cavalry still trying to harass the enemy as they advance. Meanwhile, those Aspis companion cavalry moving up. And then some Thessalians and some companions moving up there as well. Meanwhile, the flanking move is in full force now as the cavalry force is really it's been really helpful actually, as it's got the maneuverability, the speed. It can get out there and then I can fill in the line with infantry. And so you see the first bend there. Actually, you see the first bend clear over here. And then I continue to force them back, and I am encircling them with more Scutari now. Now I'm getting a little bit more spread out. You can see gaps between my units, but I'm continuing to come around behind the enemy. So they are going to have to deploy. I mean, they could deploy any of these reserves. They got Thracian warriors here, thorax swords, Royal Peltas, Thurio spears there that they could turn around and use to help that. Meanwhile, my Cantabrian's going to get missed by the Thessalians. However, they're going to harass those. The companions also are going to opt for not messing with those horse archers. But a strong contingent here pushing our left flank. I intercepted a few enemy that was coming in on a flanking move with that noble cav. And now you see my mercenary noble fighters advancing all around to help that flank, as it is getting like really crushed. They're putting full force on this flank. Part of the reason probably that they're not responding in a huge effort against this flanking move, and this flanking move has gotten me completely around them. Oh boy, no. This explains why they weren't responding to my flanking move. They were waiting for me to envelop them, and they were just going to come out with a bunch of companions and Aspis companion cavalry and just destroy me. But it looks like my ally has seen it. He's rushing a ton of cavalry forward to stop that. Now it looks like he's going to turn aside and encircle those units. The Cantabrian's going to get a few shots in. My guerrilla warriors also moving up. And now you see my Scutari shifting like, wait a minute, what just happened right here? How did all that cavalry just like emerge from the woods? And then my Cantabrians have went into melee and they have attacked those Greek scorpions. So it's good to get them out of the game. You don't want those guys sitting around causing too much damage. Here we got some companions that could turn and help, but it looks like they're rushing infantry. Some shield bearers and levy pikemen there. Meanwhile, my cavalry still continuing to hold off this huge flanking move for a little while. Meanwhile, my noble fighters have gotten into place and are pushing back there. Got some reserves there as well. However, I believe we lost the general of my ally because it was on the left here and it's gone now. So I think he's dead. But he's gone, but we're still fighting strong. Now you see I've encircled their position in the woods with these Scutari, and so their foot companions won't be able to put much of a fight because they will be encircled. However, and pikemen don't do good when attacked from the back or flank. However, those hoplites there are there to respond to any flanking moves. Meanwhile, the general of Macedon is gotten enveloped by the strong force of Araverci cavalry, as well as some guerrilla. Those are Scutari, not guerrilla warriors. However, the guerrilla warriors are right here, waiting for those guys, in case they wanted to run into them. Looks like one Scorpion team has survived, but it got away because of the spears moving up and the Aspin companion cavalry there. So I couldn't keep pushing with that archer cav. Meanwhile, we're going to get a push here from the hoplites and the foot companions, and the javelins from these Scutari is just going to shred the advancing units. Well, they were firing javelins. Okay, there just comes the second one from like point blank. And then the Balearic slingers are going to open fire soon as well. And right here, there's a huge gap right here that could be exploited with Scutari in these trees and get around to the reserves of all these hoplites that are their reserves. I could have pushed through there as well, but I don't know why I didn't. Then meanwhile, the Scutari, they're getting encircled by some companion cavalry. But my ally, he's not seeing it, so he's not moving up yet. But that Scutari, he's not liking it. They are morale on red, about to rout. So not good, not good. Meanwhile, my Cantabrian cavalry are going to make a daring charge on the archers, and it looks like they're going to get intercepted by some royal peltas, but not before they get their bits in, their kills in. They're going to get into that one unit and now space out, it looks like, and get in there and try to fight those levy pikemen. Oh no, those aren't levy pikemen. Those are just pikemen right there, getting shredded by the noble fighters. And then this flanking move got mostly intercepted by my noble fighters, but it's still making quite a bit of progress. You can see we've fallen back a little bit. You can see where the original line was right here. It went up to the stone hedge, and now it's fallen back around the corner here. However, it's making a valiant defense, about to rout a thorax, and another noble fighter entering the fight there. Here, two noble fighters holding off against that hoplite and the shield bearer. The noble cav charging in and out of there. Over here, a noble cavalry is getting destroyed by those Thessalians and companions, as well as some archers right there. I don't know if they're really doing anything. I have shipped my general back over here, which, because it's a noble cav unit and can help respond to that, as I'm running out of cavalry on that flank. And then the flanking move now starting to take shape as I'm charging in the Scutari through that breach in the woods. You can see them advancing in there. Meanwhile, the reserve hoplites are shifting to support the main line. But this right side here is how these Macedonians, if these Macedonians are going to win, it's going to be through this right flank, because if they could collapse this in and encircle our main line of infantry, and route that, it would be all over, because this Scutari is not going to stand long against any of their cavalry, especially their shot cav. So if their shot cavalry could get through, break that main line, and start charging over here, it wouldn't go too well for us. I think it would probably turn the tide, but as of right now, that's not what's happening. We're holding with the noble fighters are standing there holding against that push. And the Cantabrian cavalry also coming up there to help over there, make sure that doesn't happen. And meanwhile, the Scutari are continuing to just collapse these lines in and force Macedon and surround Macedon's main line. And here we go. Scutari advancing through the woods. I always like units advancing through the woods. It's kind of a cool, the graphics make this look really cool. And fighting in the woods is about as good. So here the hoplite's going to take a charge from the Scutari possibly, unless the Scutari... Okay, so the Scutari are going to stop like inches from the hoplites. But the hoplites aren't going to be... They're going to be like, no, we don't want to take those javelin volleys. We're going to charge in and engage that unit. So the Scutari getting charged there by the hoplites... Or no, these are shield bearers holding out against some Scutari and Cantabrian cavalry, as well as like all the cavalry force from Araverci, all that's left of the cavalry force, because I have like nothing left except my general and these Cantabrians right here. I am alone. Here's some mercenary Thracian warriors have broken through, but rather than running down our infantry, they're just gonna charge after those Balearic slingers. So maybe they could turn and hit the cavalry or something, or the cavalry could turn and hit them. Now, meanwhile, the Thessalians have bit on the bait, and they took after my general, who's going to pull out after the initial charge and let the Cantabrians take over in that fight. So I sent my general up there, they charged in, and I countercharged with all my remaining cavalry. However, my remaining cavalry is not quite strong enough, and is probably going to get beat out. They're also going to move some Thessalians and cycle charge them. They're also going to get some Aspis companion cavalry in there maybe. And then here's some noble fighters getting taken down by the shield bearers and the hoplites. Meanwhile, the 30th spears getting beat there. I mean, this is a mess over here. Is now the main line. The cavalry is finally rear charging the main line. Morale for these noble fighters is already on yellow. However, these noble fighters are a very tough unit, and they should be able to hold that off and wear that down. But they are losing morale quickly. So if they don't get help or some sort of this bulk unit right here doesn't get stopped, then we're gonna have a mess on our hands, because they'll encircle us. Meanwhile, my Scutari are literally just drawing up ranks directly behind the main line of Macedon. So my Balearic slingers wrapping up. Actually, I think I focus fired down that hoplite because it was giving me a ton of trouble. Yeah, I did. So all that fire is pouring straight into those hoplites. And the Scutari continuing to encircle and just cut down anyone that gets in their way. Those militia hoplites not standing much of a chance. Meanwhile, they should probably encircle these hoplites here, as they're holding up against some Scutari a lot. They're holding down 4 units or 3 units of Scutari, so if they could encircle those and get rid of them, that would probably be their best option. Here, the balance of power bar is saying it's majorly in favor of the enemy, so Macedon, but I'm not agreeing with this really, because our main force right here is cavalry and a bunch of Scutari, while the enemy's main force is going to be a lot of Royal Peltasts and hoplites, better unit shield bearers in there. We got a lot of companion cavalry left. So I'm saying they could probably win because they have elite. Numbers, probably. We only have a few, 4, I see 4, 5, noble 6, 7, 8 noble fighters left. Okay, so here's one more. Okay, make it 9. Noble fighters, give or take some. So they hold quite a bit of an advantage as far as elite units, but we probably do have a numbers advantage slightly just because of all this Scutari that's still bleeding through the woods, as well as all these Balearic slingers. But these Balearic slingers are useless if even one of these units of Thessalians cavalry could wrap up all these Balearic slingers, all these units here. So I'm saying they probably still could pull off a victory here. Then meanwhile, those Royal Peltas now going to get surrounded by the Scutari. And these units here also going to get surrounded by the Scutari, this Thorax. But this noble fighter is fighting a Royal Peltas instead of continuing the encirclement. However, those Thracian or Thorax swords look like they're going to rout. Over here, the Thracian nobles or Thracian warriors taking fire from the Balearics, who are now going to get run up against the side and probably rout. Now it looks like they're going to start suffering army losses and wavering army losses, at least one of them. And now with the ally gone, the other army is going to suffer that. Javelin fire pouring in there from the Scutari. So I guess it was a pretty good win for my team. We'll take a look at the statistics as soon as these last 2 units rout. Okay, there we go. Wasn't like the shield bearers last time, or whatever time that was. The shield bearers would just not rout, and I had to sit and watch them for like 5 minutes while they wouldn't rout. Okay, there's still units left. There is still some Royal Peltas left in there fighting on. So that's going to end it, and let's take a look at the statistics. I came out with 3,791 kills. There's too many units to go over all of them, so we're just going to hit the highlights. My Noble Cav General did good. My Cantabrians did okay with that 144. Then the Noble Cav again did decent. The Balearic Slingers not great for their costs, but these Iberian Skirmishers did pretty good. The Guerrilla Warriors, I'm okay with how they did. The Noble Fighters all did really good. The Scutari did really good. I'm really happy with how those turned out. And then we're going to have Com, PU, Whack, 2,037 kills, and he's going to have 133 on that Ballista. Good job there. General a little disappointing at only 4, but he did get encircled there, like I said, on the left flank and destroyed. So, but that's no excuse. That unit should have done way better than 4 kills. The Cavalry did really good, considering how many of them survived. The Iberian Cav there did good for its price. The Balearic Slingers did a lot better than mine there, with 62 being the highest, or 69 being the highest. Then his Noble Fighters were the bulk fighting force. Our main line did good. They held long. And then the Scutari, his Scutari did good. And then we're going to have Y, 1,504 kills for Macedon. His General and Cavalry, not great. These Companions, though, pretty good. The Archers, not so great, but these the Rhodian Slingers did pretty good for their price. Meanwhile, the Foot Companions didn't do great, but if you notice, they didn't get put in pike phalanx. They were used as a sword infantry, so not quite as effective as they could have been. Though those hoplites there did okay, 93. The Levy pikemen, nobody expects them to do good, but 0 kills apiece. I mean, if you add all 3 of the Levy pikemen together, they still get 0 kills. Wow. Then the militia hoplites there at 4. The Royal Peltas did pretty good. Actually did really good, 113, 125, and most of the units survived. They just routed. Then the shield bearers did good, as well as the thorax swords. Then we have Shamalam is the other Macedon, and he's going to have this experienced cavalry that did pretty good. I think this is what I was fighting. No, this is what my ally was fighting over on the left, on Macedon's left. The archers here, then, the Cretan archers did amazing, 114, 133. And then the shield bearers and thorax did all around okay. These Royal Peltas did great there. I guess these are the Greek scorpions. You can't hardly see them you can't actually see them under the kill counts 1 and 2. So not great, actually not good. But they got harassed by that Cantabrian cavalry. Then the pikemen did okay. And the militia hoplites, nobody expects them. They're kind of the meat shield of these units. And then the Thracian warriors did okay. Nothing spectacular, 45 being the best. The hoplites, and then the Tarentines, 59. This one was 0. And then this pikeman with 43. So good job for all. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.